Okay, let's do a quick review of all 6 of my charts. The first one, pound dollar. Yesterday there was something crazy that went on, and that was kind of confusing me today. But after the Frankfurt Open, there was a strong momentum going down, and I saw this over here, which I did not take. Obviously, it wasn't clear at that time, and then it pulled back. The signal was a little bit too big. I did not take it in the first place, but then after this candle I set a limit sell order with the stop loss a little bit too far up. I think I should have gone for 10. Then it went all the way down in my favor, but did not hit my target and came back and hit break even. That was an attempt to kind of grab something out of it. Then I did something rather funny. M1, you can see that, clear trend breakout up there, so you can trade it on the 1 minute chart. I saw this over here. This was this gray one. After this, you want to wait for a blue signal, but didn't appear. This would be the first pullback within this breakout. That would be that's the one that gives you the highest probability. There's like after the first pullback, there's a higher probability of resumption of trend. Don't take gray signals most of the time. This would be good, but after that, the first pullback with the blue signal was this one, which I missed because I was still contemplating whether I should be trading the M1 chart or yes or no. I think the result on this would have been 2R. Result over here has been a break even, which is okay. Goes up, hits my 1R, or did I actually? I think it was my mistake. Let's count it. 3. Yeah, I moved stop loss a little bit early. I mean, stop loss should have been moved over here when it was 1R, and that would have allowed me to hit 2R on this, but I didn't. That's why following your rules is very, very important. So let's go to the euro dollar. Euro dollar really have nothing after yesterday's spike down. It's still within that spike region, and it had nothing fantastic. Over here it was creating something, but it just went up above the line, so not interested. I'm not going to be taking this because I want to be in line with the hourly chart. Did not even look at the dollar yen because there's nothing on it over here, and I don't see anything on the 5 minute chart. DAX, however, was interesting today. So in the beginning, that's the I look at DAX more on the 1 minute chart. I'm questioning that now, like why should I focus too much on DAX M1 when I can look at all 6 charts on the 5 minute chart and they produce really good signals. So over here I was monitoring the previous levels. Here's the previous levels. There's no strong momentum here, no strong indication of anything on the 1 minute chart. As you can see, this was not a signal for me because the impulse move is not clean. Then it went up, then it came down. This is not a signal for me because, again, the impulse is not clean and the previous low is very low. Over here it was something to trade, but this pin bar candle kind of ruined it for me because this was a strong rejection of these lows, and then it went up. And now if I took this, this would be a nice 2R. And then these 2 candles, can you see that indicates the major trend reversal over here, and which is followed by a trading range. Now, I was following this closely because when this happens, you have these moves and there's no momentum, and then all of a sudden on the flip side, on the opposite side of it, you have some momentum. Then you want to mark these levels and then you want to wait for this breakout. It did break out, and I waited for a signal over here, but for some reason when this signal happened, it wasn't a very good signal for me. Now when I look at it in hindsight, I think I should have taken it. It will be a little bit difficult to stay through it, but I think it was a good signal. I should have taken it. Most probably will be a break even anyway. If I took this one, then this was the same like the GU trade. I had to wait through it and it would have hit target point. When this pullback was happening, I was following the 5 minute chart, but I wasn't sure whether I should take the 5 minute signal or not because I don't really do that. And so I didn't. But if you look at it, it was a very good signal, although my what I didn't like about was that it hit that level and pulled back. So my entry would have been just below the support, but the support was not really a valid support because it was just one level, if you know what I mean. It wasn't a longer term support. Well, if you look at it now, it was, but you know, that was my thought. And because my plan mainly for DAX is M1, so I didn't take it. Emma took this trade and grabbed herself a nice juicy 2R trade. I was meanwhile waiting for the 1 minute chart, and I saw this and I was excited about this because this is a very nice 1 2 3 4 5, a beautiful impulse move, which so when the gray one happens, I'm excited. I want to wait for one more candle, the blue signal. It did not happen and it continued. So you can see if I took this one, it would be a DS0 for me, but it went 3R in my favor. And that's it. That's the end of that. Meanwhile, today the US indices were moving pretty nicely. So if you look at the daily, the hourly chart, that's what I'll be looking at before I drop to the 5 minute chart at the end of this candle, which is the end of the first hourly candle, the hour before. Then at that time you can drop to the 5 minute chart because well, I was already on the 5 minute chart because I was watching NASDAQ. And once you identify a trading range like this, it becomes a little bit easier, because what you need to do now is that this market structure is that when it goes into a trading range, the longer it stays in the trading range, the stronger is going to be the breakout. And when this breakout happens, the first thing you want to look for is for it to go up first and then retest that range, which it did not do. The second thing you want to look for is that it creates an impulse move and creates that first signal pullback. This was not enough for me and I wasn't trading this. But I traded, I was watching NASDAQ, and the story of this I told in the previous video today as well. Let's go to the hourly chart. We can clearly see that market was going up overnight, and then there's a pullback going on the hourly chart. I wasn't paying attention to that, but I saw this. Like you see, there's a market structure going on, and then it creates a trading range. And when the trading range is created, you want to wait for the breakout, like I said about US30. It broke out with a nice, lovely impulse move. That's a breakout phase. Pulls back, a beautiful retest of the previous levels. A red one signal. Should have taken it if I was paying attention. 17 and a 2R trade nicely. Then it reverses, hits the previous levels. As you can see from the hourly chart, this was actually just a pullback of the hourly chart, and then the trend resumes. And when it resumed, it went up, another impulse move. I took the trade over here. It went up, it came down, and I got 1R somewhere here. I got out of it. I mean, I should have stayed in it because it's still not hit my 2R target, somewhere there. 93 something was my target, but I should have stayed in it, but I'm out, and that is what it is. On the 1 minute chart, it created beautiful signals. You have this signal, then you have this one, then you have one over here. I did take these ones. I think this one did not even, yeah, I took a signal here. This was a DS0, but it hit 2R. I did not then take this one. This was a beautiful signal after a major trend reversal. You can see breakout, then turns into a channel, then a deeper pullback. This is usually the case. And when this deeper pullback happens after a move like this, this is where you will see a signal on the 5 minute chart. A beautiful, beautiful morning, and a fantastic way of trading this method. Well done to Emma. And there you go. That's the bananas. So there's another signal now here, as we can see. Breakout, first pullback, and now the second pullback. I should have stayed in my first trade. It would have hit my target now. There we go.